This is a large piece of West African strip woven fabric. It is approximately 11 feet long by 36 inches. And these individual squares are made on a loom and then hand stitched together. So it's a very time intensive process making these. This here I had up for $500 or best offer, and I took a best offer of $355. And if you've watched my videos, you've known that I've sold quite a few of these type of pieces over the last year or so. And I bought a large table lot of this at auction. It was from somebody who had traveled in the Peace Corps and obviously collected these pieces. Some of them even had little labels on them that they had stitched or had pinned onto them. So it gave me a little direction in terms of where to look. I didn't know anything about it when I bought it, and as I did more research, I did determine that it was very valuable stuff. This whole table lot cost me 60 bucks, and I'm sure at this point I'm probably well north of $1,500 to $2,000 in profit on that lot. This is an antique hand-woven rug. I believe it's a Turkish rug. It's made of wool. It's what they call a Kilim rug, or Kilim rug. It's spelled K-I-L-I-M. And it's a low pile rug. And it's got these kind of distinctive kind of slits. The way that they weave it back and forth, they leave these little slits as part of the design. So it's got these little slits all over the place. There's another one here. And it's not a huge rug, so it's easy to ship. And it's 4 feet by 8, or sorry, it's 4 foot 8 inches by 2 feet 8 inches. And I picked this up at a walk around auction. It was just on top of a table. It was a buyer's choice, and I think I paid $5 for it. And I put it up for $249, and I took a best offer of $200 for it. This is a pair of red distressed vintage kind of lace-up boxing gloves. Kind of a very classic vintage look. They got some wear. This one here has some rips to the fabric. I did disclose that in the listing, but they're just kind of a real classic look, kind of thing you would hang on your wall. Anyhow, I picked these up at a walk-around auction on the table top, and I think I paid about $2 for these. Had them up for quite a while, and they just sold for $39.95, and there's no best offer on these. This is an antique New York Police Department hat badge. It's got a squadron number there. It's got a fastener on the back. And it's supposed to be a lot more shiny than it is. I think the original kind of nickel finish has been entirely worn off. Got this in a tray lot of NYPD stuff. I always pick that up if I can find it because it does sell very well. And there's a lot of stuff from between the 19-teens to 1940s or so in that lot. So it looked like a career police officer. Their stuff was being auctioned off. So this piece here came from that lot, sold for $80. That entire lot, which I've sold a few pieces from so far, I got a lot more still to list, I paid about $60 to $70 for. This piece here I just listed last week. This is the first piece I've listed since probably September. I've been really busy with my other businesses, so I haven't been putting much time into listing on eBay, but I have been selling a lot and packing a lot, just kind of selling through what I already have. But this piece here is Wedgewood. It's the turquoise Florentine pattern. It's got this great kind of griffin dragon motif going around, fruit medallion in the middle. Really sought after stuff. Got a lot of interest on eBay. And I bought an incomplete set. It was about I think it was about 75 pieces or so for about $160, which seems like a lot, but I've already sold. This is the second piece I've sold of it. The first was a larger platter. I can't remember what it sold for, but at least $90. This piece here sold for $17. So I'm pretty much almost at break even on it, and I still have, 74 pieces, 73 pieces left to go through. So I always pick up China pieces if I can find them, if they have good interest like this. This is an antique cast iron number 7 star stovetop iron, or sad iron. And they weren't called sad irons because they were sad, but sad being an old English word for heavy. And this is indeed heavy. It's about 5.5 pounds or so. And I don't actively seek these out, but I do come across them at auctions as part of tray lots or box lots. If they're in good enough condition and have some kind of notable markings, I tend to list them, get anywhere between $15 and $25 for them. And packing these is pretty easy because they can go right in a flat rate box or a regional A or regional B. And so this one here sold for $20, and they paid another, I think, about 10 bucks to ship it. These are a pair of wooden exercise kind of juggling clubs. They got great character to them. Bit of wear on both of them, but they're just really interesting pieces. I don't think anyone really uses these to juggle anymore. They're probably just put on shelves or used maybe in retail displays in stores. Just really classic pieces. I got these, I think, at a walk-around auction in a box, or maybe it was an upstairs auction. I think they came in a box lot anyways, and I probably paid no more than $5 for the whole box. Had these up since the summertime. I listed them for $80, and I just took a best offer of $50. This is an art book called A Jeweler's Eye, Islamic Arts. And this came as part of a table lot. It was just kind of the extras. And I used to send books like this up to Amazon and do it through the FBA, just kind of get rid of them. But they changed their long-term storage fees. So now having idle books sitting up at Amazon ends up costing you a good deal of money, eating into the profits. So I'm switching now to doing books on Merchant Fulfilled. So this is one was sold through Merchant Fulfilled, and I think, I don't have the price right here, but I think it was about $15 I got for this. This is a matched pair of World War II era silver oak leaf pins. These are lapel pins. I believe they designate Lieutenant Colonel rank. I'm no expert on this stuff, but I do pick it up at auction. Typically you can get large tray lots of military pins that have come out of people's estates from veterans, and they tend to sell pretty well. These are sterling silver. They're marked as such. They're in pretty good condition. They are a matched pair, which is nice, and they sold for $28.95, and I probably paid about $30 to $40 for that tray lot, but there was probably 50 or 60 different pins and insignia, so pretty easy to make back my money on that lot. These are a couple of kind of funky looking capacitors. They're called tubular capacitors. And I got these in a large vintage electronics lot. It was 5 large storage bins, those kind of like parts drawer bins with the pull-out drawers. Paid about, I think it was like $95 for all this stuff. And it was 5 of them. They were huge. They were each about 2.5 feet tall by about 1.5 feet wide. Each of them had about 40 drawers. And they were all crammed full of vintage electronic components like this. And I've been selling that stuff for the past 2, maybe 3 years now. Not a huge amount of money. I sold a lot of the stuff that really went for good money. There was some Bakelite pieces and some really rare capacitors. But these here are pretty hard to come by, and this lot of 4 sold for $5. Not a ton of money, but I have hundreds and hundreds of these things. So I just got to get around to listing them. This is a fairly large dial scale. It goes up to 32 ounces in 1/8 of an ounce increments. And it's got a registration seal here, so it was officially calibrated in the state of Massachusetts. So it was used in some commercial purpose at some point in its life. I picked this up at a yard sale for I think $2 or $3 last summer. And I just sold it for $39.95. And scales tend to do pretty well for me. Old scales, new scales. If I come across them and I get a good price, I usually pick them up, and they sell relatively quickly and for good money. This is a Sotheby's London auction catalog. It's from an auction dating to April 20th, 1982. It's for fine and important Chinese snuff bottles. And it's got every lot from that auction in here, along with the approximate price that they were expecting these things to fetch, along with some black and white plates, and there's a handful of color plates in here as well. Here we go. I found this along with about maybe another 80 or 90 of these on the side of the road. Somebody was throwing them away. The only problem is they smell really strongly of kind of a musty odor from being stored probably in someone's basement for years. They're all in pretty good condition. There was a lot of ones from these Chinese and Oriental auctions, all dating to around the 1970s and 1980s. And I wasn't really sure what to sell it for, so I just put this one up yesterday for $12, and it sold right away. So I might have priced it a little bit too low. But I have, as I said, another probably 80 or 90 of these to go through. So just kind of testing the waters.